Hey everybody, Cake Marshall here. Wow, this is the 11th of these Cake Day videos. And I realize at this point there's probably people who are, have started to work with us in the year that we've been in lockdown and have never even been to a real Cake Day. I can't even imagine. But yes, there's people who've never been to a real Cake Day. So I thought this would be a good time to kind of take a look and see what is Cake Day. For those of you who don't know, and also for those of you who do know, let's take a deeper dive and look at Cake Day. I got a Zoom meeting come up. I'm going to make some snacks while you guys are getting caught up on history here, and we will meet back here in my kitchen bunker studio apartment. I'll see you guys in a few.
Cake Day is essential. In other companies that I've worked for, whenever somebody has a birthday, there's like somebody brings in a cake or brings in some brownies, or maybe they do, or maybe they don't. If it's somebody who's not liked, they don't get a cake. It's very undemocratic or very so that idea of everybody celebrating everybody's birthday is fantastic.
And so I like Cake Day because no matter whose birthday it is, no matter what month it is, everybody gets to enjoy Cake Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's your birthday and your name gets called out and you get to eat cake, but like 12 times a year, Cake Day has given everybody a sense of celebration for everybody, for our lives, for our birth.
Being in the office when everything would be laid out, and it was wonderful. It really was a social time before we all jumped into the work week. And it was like you didn't have to eat the rest of the day because you got all your meals right there. So it expanded also from birthday wishes to like people adding things, and the country fair cake days, which is what you added as well.
Yeah. And I think it's just fun for people to have a moment to get out of the Monday morning meeting and just take a minute and bond. And the same thing with the Tuesday lunches. It's our time to kind of connect, and it's not a formal meeting.
Yeah.
Group food has a universal and ancient power just to bring people together. There are people who argue that that civilization is based on cooking food together and talking about it while we're eating it. That's actually how humans evolved. The language gene was that sitting around getting ready to eat together. It's essential. It goes all the way back to our very primitive hunter-gatherer Anthropocene roots.
Being communal, and it really is something that everybody can do together, no matter what your opinion of this topic or the meeting you're in. And I think especially when one makes something and gives it to somebody else, the gifting, which is in our DNA, I think it makes the world a better place.
We were just talking about the rain, and on rainy days for big meetings, there was always requests for warm soup. Warm soup. So the food is really comforting, but it also keeps your blood sugar, even on a long meeting. So whether it's nuts and chocolates and cheeses and meats, or if it's a full-blown lunch, I think it's just really nice to nurture and feed people so that they can keep going and doing their important work.
But I also have, a tradition of making eggnog during the holidays at our Burning Man office, and that has become a pretty well received batch of eggnog. There are no two ways about that. I started up in the morning, to do the eggs in the fridge and with the alcohol, and then in the afternoon, finish mixing it all up. And usually I do it around thank you card time, when people are finishing up thank you cards, and it kind of makes them feel warm and happy when they're writing all those messages.
Caesar salad is a good one. You know, I remember having a meeting at the ranch. We had no utensils. And so everybody scooped up a bunch of the Caesar salad and put it up in their chest and was like eating with their hands. So it was like, it was really very DPW. But I think, you know, certainly the fruitcake, the margaritas, which makes everybody a little loopy.
To me, I think one of the most enduring institutions in America or anywhere is the idea of the potluck. The potluck has the power to, you know, to equalize, to level the field, to bring people together, to make everybody participate. It's what the, you know, the church picnic is based on. It's what the church of the jerk is based on, right? It's what so many great things in this world are based on. You know, it's that idea of stone soup. You know, maybe I don't have enough of my own to eat, but between us all, we'll have more than we need, right? That plenty, that bountitude of potlucking.
His father owned a cafe. His father, who was a Dust Bowl immigrant, had a cafe in Nebraska, I think, or South Dakota. I think it was Nebraska. And so he was really proud of that history and that heritage. And so when given an opportunity, he could make very hearty food in a pot. And the chicken and dumplings was a rare treat. But that was, you know, that was the way that he, you know, gave you his love.
Well, you know, the one thing that immediately comes to mind is being in the lunch line with Larry. And our hostess, Sunny, was really great at making sure that we had healthy food. And a lot of times Larry would look at something and he would go, "Is there kale in that? I hate kale." And it just cracked me up every time because there's so many, you know, kale aficionados in the office. And Larry's just like, no kale.
I mean, I totally identify him with the charcuterie plate. You know, so many times I would come by first camp and find him in his chair there holding court with a charcuterie plate on the side of the table. And I don't know who the hell made those charcuterie plates. And I always thought, where does he get this endless supply of charcuterie plates?
He wasn't making it himself, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, the charcuterie plate is amazingly perfect desert food. You know, it's got the salt, it's got the, you know, it's got, you know, it's the next best, beyond a pickle, it's probably the single best thing you can eat out there.
Wow, we learned a lot there. There's a lot more to Cake Day than you would have ever thought. While we were doing that, I got a Zoom meeting coming up here, so I made some snacks. I have made a charcuterie plate, of course. We learned that that's essential. We've got the meat and cheese charcuterie plate here. And for the vegetarians, I've also made a little noshing plate here featuring hummus and some bread and some veggies and olives. So now we are pretty much ready for any meeting. And yeah, I think it's important to share food. So Cake Day is just kind of the tip of the iceberg on the hospitality and feeding people aspect that's important, not only to the Burning Man office, but of course to everyday life and building community or whatever. Sharing food with people is essential. So I encourage you to come up with a recipe on your own, make something delicious. And yeah, we'll see you next time for the next Cake Day video, and happy Cake Day.
So this is a part of a diary from a Grimm from December 1780. They write, I arrived in Dresden at the order of King Augustus II the Strong. Having been successful at tracking down and dispatching Kali Khan Zoroi in the Greek Isles a year before, I suddenly found myself in much demand, but my discovery of what they were was not without its pitfalls. Before my time, it was assumed that the Kali Kant Zoroi were goblins who descended upon cities to wreak havoc during the celebration of Christmas. But after several bloody decapitations, I was horrified to learn that they were children of the Indol Gentile. Kali Kant Zoroi are rare among the Indol Gentile and appear to manifest during pubertas, which is puberty, lasting about 12 days and linked somehow to the bruma, and only at night. Knowing I was dealing with children, I put away my sword and worked feverishly to discover something that would stop them. King Augustus had found the answer for me. By chance, his mother discovered Kalikant Zoroi were insatiably drawn to sweet cakes. The king ordered the royal bakers to create the first stollen, cake made with candied fruit. It stood 7 cubits high and weighed 6 stones, and that's about 84 pounds of a cake. As strange as it sounds, when they were indulged, it rendered the Kalikant Zoroi harmless, returning them for good to their natural state once the sun comes up. So this means that it is a good reason for a fruitcake